talk to me a little bit about the funding gap for the convention center.
Well, there isn't a funding gap anymore. The funding gap's been closed. We've closed it in a number of manners. First of all, with $1.5 million in additional funds through Act 23 have been found, and that's been done primarily through interest rate changes. It poses no additional burden, really, and it's through favorable interest rates. Penn Square Partners have agreed to provide an additional $1 million in cash for it. We have $2 million as the probable amount that we're going to be able to get through a private contribution for naming rights for the center. $5.2 million from negotiations with contractors, and this will be for additional valued engineering and some other factors, but that amount can't be confirmed until after the construction contracts are signed, and we'll enter into negotiations. $3 million in the purchase of easements for the facade of the Wat Chan building and the Montgomery House by the Historic Preservation Trust. And there'll be $7 million. Basically what this will be is we'll be relieving Penn Square Partners from building a garage and the obligation to build a garage. The agreement's been worked out that the Lancaster newspaper is going to build a garage for 375 to 400 cars on South Prince Street. This will alleviate the parking problems. In addition, Lancaster Newspapers is going to loan to the Parking Authority of the City of Lancaster an additional $3 million, which will allow them to purchase the lot where the Lancaster Laundry now stands and make the lot ready for parking, surface parking. This will be parked probably about 120 cars on the surface. It's a 3-year interest-free loan from Lancaster Newspaper to the Lancaster Parking Authority. So with that,
throw that out the window, please.
I think that they're just very worried.
Well, with those various factors, what we've done is close the $20 million gap. Now, this is just what's going to be accomplished in the short term. The funding is there, and it's now up to the Lancaster County Convention Center board to issue the contracts and proceed with the matter. So for the time being, the $20 million funding gap has been closed. We now know for the first time how much the project is actually going to cost us, and the fact that the funding is there in place to pay for it.
Talk about the 5.2 for the value engineering. What exactly is value engineering?
Well, value engineering will be where they'll go over the entire project with the people that have signed the contracts to perform the work and look at it closer as to ways that they can cut costs and cut down on costs. There'll be numerous ways that they've explained to us that they feel that they can do it, and they feel that $5.2 million is well within the ballpark that they can value engineer.
Parking for this project has been an issue for most of the time. With this additional change in the parking garage system, how do you feel about the change for parking?
Well, it's actually going to provide more parking in downtown Lancaster, plus the parking authority will have an additional piece of property that they can construct a garage on at a later time. Again, privately, Lancaster Newspapers is going to build a 375 to 400 spot lot on South Prince Street. This will allow the parking authority to transfer the King Street lot over to the Convention Center authority, and therefore allow them to go ahead and contract, or Penn Square Partners allow them to go ahead and contract with the Marriott and provide sufficient parking for the Marriott. In addition, now again, the Lancaster Laundry lot will become the property of the parking authority, and again, that'll provide approximately 120 surface lot spots for the time being.
We talked 2 weeks ago when a whole bunch of people were here, and you were really going to sit down at the table and talk about it. How do you feel 2 weeks later with this proposal?
Well, we've come a long way, and in the words of Mark Twain, the reports of my death are highly exaggerated. We're now in position that we know how much it's going to cost. We're in position that the funding's in place, and we intend to proceed. It's now up to the Convention Center Authority as to whether they want to issue the contracts, and I assume that'll take place at their meeting on Monday night, at least the decision.
This release talks about Commissioners Henderson and Schellenberger continuously trying to stop the project. What do you hope will happen next? You know, how do you hope those two commissioners will react to this?
Well, I imagine I know how these two commissioners will react to it, and it's unfortunate that they've decided to just take dilatory tactics and just delay and delay with a hope in mind that they'll drive the costs up. They have been successful to some extent. They've driven the cost up. They've cost the taxpayers a lot in that way, and they're also continuing to cost the taxpayers a lot in filing frivolous lawsuits. We intend to proceed, and we intend to go ahead, and they're going to have to do what they feel they should do, and we're going to have to do what we think we should do.
Mayor, you had always said that you wanted to wait till the bids came in, see if it was just financially feasible. Do you think it's financially feasible now?
It is financially feasible. This is exactly the time we've been waiting for. The financing is in place. Now, again, it's up to the Convention Center Authority Board to approve the contracts, and we intend to proceed.
Sounds great. Is this a good day for Lancaster?
It's a great day for Lancaster. Really, as was said in our release, all our neighbors have been doing things like this while we stand around and wring our hands and argue among ourselves. It's about time Lancaster starts moving ahead, and it's about time we stop all the arguing and hassling and do what we should do to provide real economic development, not just to the city, but also the county.
Talk about the type of money that this is. This is a lot of private investment of this $20 million.
I'd say about 40, I haven't done the figure, I think about 40% of it is private money. That's correct, out of the shortfall.
Sounds great. Anything else you can think of?
No, just we're moving.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.